Hi, Johnny.
Hi, Graham.
Usual, mate.
Yes, please. I'll grab a seat.
Cool. Be there in a sec.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to Graham and Johnny's virtual pub chat. So, as we can't go into a real pub at the moment, we thought it's high time we jumped on the bandwagon and made a podcast of doing what we do best: talk rubbish. So, grab yourself a drink, pull up a chair, and listen to us try and answer some of life's mysterious questions. Each week, we'll explore different subjects and try to wrestle some of the big topics. You can get involved too. Send us your thoughts and suggestions of subjects you think should be covered at virtualpubchat@gmail.com or find us on social media on virtualpubchat.
We are
So,
pretty late.
Graham,
We are pretty late to the game.
yes, we should have started this a bit earlier, but you know what? Who knows? We could go back into lockdown, and then people can listen to their heart's content. So, yes, it is June 2020, and yeah, it's been a funny old year, hasn't it?
It's been interesting.
Yeah.
We're in the
So
middle of a global pandemic, coronavirus or COVID-19, depending on what you want to call it.
yeah, so things are starting to get better, but who knows whether this is temporary or for the foreseeable future.
I think what we can agree is it's a time of change. Like it's obvious,
Yeah,
brilliant change. Like a lot of stuff around the world is kicking
yeah,
off, and it's just if the world doesn't get better after
yeah,
this, there's something wrong with
yeah.
us.
Yeah. So we thought we'd start a podcast because many years ago, you and I used to have a radio show, didn't we, at uni?
We did.
That seems like a very long time ago.
12 years,
And
mate. 12 years.
indeed. And you know, you got married and bought a house
I did,
and moved
and
halfway out the country.
and you're a dad. You have a
I know.
child.
Indeed, indeed. So yeah, it was over a decade ago. I wonder what has changed in those 12 years. So I think we could look back in a kind of for a fondness of the last 12 years and see if we can pick up any good stories.
Well,
So we'll start with two.
not just the good stories. Come on, I mean, a
Yeah,
lot of stuff has happened. Let's face it, 2016 and 2017 were a
yeah,
bit iffy, but we'll get
yeah,
to that.
yeah,
So 2008. Uh,
yeah.
so since then we've had three lots of Olympics. We've had the London Games. Did you go to any of the events at the London Games?
No, I wanted to, but yeah, tickets were like gold dust. So yeah, never got to it. How about you?
Yeah, I did. So my then girlfriend, now wife, and her sister, who was over from Australia, plus me, went to the beach volleyball quarterfinals, and
Lovely.
we got those tickets randomly through uh, where my wife was working at the time in London. It was insane, and yeah, we went
Yeah.
along, and it's like, I tell you what, the best bit was not the sport because
No.
I had no idea what was going on, but the best bit was that it was commentated by Peter Dixon. It's like Peter Dixon. Oh, that was a terrible
Uh,
impression.
uh,
Yeah, he's the voiceover guy that does like Strictly, and he
uh,
does loads of adverts and stuff as well. It's like really recognizable voice, and it's just him
uh,
commentating every now and again during in between matches. That was good fun to listen to.
nice. I think yeah, we can agree. 2012 was a good year, but going back even further, 2008. You know, we were both still students.
Blimey,
Barack Obama became president. Blimey, that seems like a long time ago.
that was a very
Um,
long time ago.
what else happened?
Yeah, my research has pretty much brought up like all of the investment banking and like the market crash in 2008, which caused a lot of
Yeah,
huffle kerfuffle.
yeah. So iPhones were only just coming in. Can you imagine what life was like? Well, you don't need to imagine. We're both old enough to know what life was like before iPhones.
Yes, we are. Thanks for reminding us.
Yeah, but it's weird to think of a world without smartphones now. Like everyone's got their heads in their phones, wandering around like zombies. Yeah, it's crazy. Um, was Tinder a thing? I've never used it, but
I don't know, mate. I mean, I used the previous iterations of
yeah,
online dating. I don't think I
yeah,
ever used
yeah,
Tinder. Um, Twitter.
uh,
Twitter wasn't a thing yet. That was pre-Twitter.
no, Yeah. Or well, it was still in its early days. Facebook. I remember getting Facebook at uni and it being new, and I remember thinking, "Oh, this isn't MySpace. This is weird. This is different."
Oh, but that
But
was 2000.
now,
That was 2006. Because I remember
yeah,
when we first went to the uni and like you marched up to me in the halls,
yeah,
in our halls of residence, and I remember it was the first thing you ever bloody said to me. Is like you
yeah.
looked me in the face and you said, "Get Facebook." All right,
Yeah,
okay, calm down.
yeah,
I've only just met you, but all right,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I'll get
I don't
Facebook.
remember. I don't
Oh,
remember that conversation, but it does sound like something I'd probably say. Um,
yeah.
yeah, but social media, obviously was in its infancy, and yeah, now look at it.
Your
It's
host the
grown into
world.
this huge beast that sort of nobody can really control. Um, what about sports? So Usain Bolt was just coming onto the scene as well. He's now
Had he broken his record by that point? Had he broken the 100 meters record?
no, I, I think yeah, that was 2008 Olympics. So um, he's now a legend in athletics, and Lewis Hamilton was winning his first title. Um, yeah, it's crazy. Do you remember on Facebook, pokes used to be a thing? You used to poke people. That died a death, didn't it?
Oh yeah, you could also throw sheep at people
Yeah,
and
there were
throw
so many
throw bats. It was weird.
so many crap games on Facebook. Farmville. And did you ever play Farmville?
No.
No, me neither. It seems like a hell of a waste of time. So yeah, that was 2008. Obviously, there was a massive Wall Street crash, which shocked the world. But if I'm honest, it didn't really affect me that much because I was a poor student anyway. So
Yeah, we were all poor students. We had no money to
yeah.
lose in the first place, unless it was down the pub.
So 2009.
2009 was the final space shuttle mission to the Hubble telescope.
Yeah,
Our final NASA space mission. We
yeah,
had the global flu pandemic, which was swine
oh,
flu.
yeah,
So
yeah,
compared to COVID-19, it was relatively small, actually. I mean, we
yeah.
didn't have to go into quarantine for that one.
I remember living in France that year for my degree and being quite scared of that. That things were going to go down the pan. But luckily, yeah, it seemed to be a bit of a fuss over nothing, and nothing really got that bad. So
Well, I think we just
yeah,
probably didn't see the big effects of it, but I think swine flu was
yeah,
quite a big thing, especially, I suppose, if you're a farmer, it was probably quite a big
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I suppose the
I,
biggest thing in 2009 was that Michael Jackson died,
I
like
know.
the king of pop. Like,
Can't believe that was
where
11.
that was 11 years ago, 12
Yeah,
years ago, 11 years. It was around then.
11. It was June. Yeah, it was June because I'd not long been back from France, and I remember just having the news on, and they were saying Michael Jackson's in hospital and he's really ill, and I'm thinking, I'm sure he's got like the best doctors in the world and he'll be fine. And then like an hour later, they like released the news that he died, and it was, you can say what you want about him, about all his personal life and his problems and stuff like that, but he did good music, and yeah, I guess it's kind of like our Elvis, if that makes sense,
It
like our
does.
generation's Elvis.
Yeah, I mean, Thriller is still the best-selling album in the world.
Yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, that's just. I mean, I don't know if it sold the
yeah,
most. I can't remember if it sold the most number of copies or whether it's just the one that
yeah,
sold the fastest.
yeah.
But I don't know. I can't remember. That's something to come later. But
We
yeah,
could totally Google this, but we're not going to
no,
because
we're
we're
not
going
going
to pretend we're in a pub where we don't Google stuff.
to. So
Uh,
pre-smartphone, basically, we're going back to like 2008,
yeah,
effectively.
yeah.
We're going to undo all of the progress that science and technology has made for the purposes of having a conversation on a podcast.
So we'll move on and look at 2010. Any big events in 2010 you can remember?
So it was the Winter Olympics, Vancouver, as I think was there.
Yeah,
2010, the massive BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. That all
yeah,
kicked off, and then there was big beef between the UK and the
yeah,
USA when Barack Obama called it British Petroleum when it's not been British in like 10 years or something, and that all kicked off. Oh, SpaceX, so Elon Musk's company, the space company. So today, through 2020, they've just got 2 astronauts up on the International Space Station. But 10 years ago, they just launched their first pod into like low Earth orbit and had it actually return successfully and safely. So
Mm.
that's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
consider how far they've come in 10 years.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then, I mean, I don't follow football, but also the World Cup was in South Africa.
Yeah. The Vuvuzelas. That was the year of the Vuvuzelas. Oh,
Oh, that thing, the
that was.
Vuvuzela.
They were annoying very quickly.
Yeah, but at least it
And
taught
then
all parents what it's like to give your kid a toy trumpet for Christmas.
yeah. Let's
2011.
move on
Come on.
to
2011. What happened in
yes.
2011?
So not really anything good.
No.
Tsunami in Japan. Occupy Wall Street happened. Bin Laden was killed, so I guess that was one good thing. And then the riots happened, and I remember
The
thinking
London
the
riots.
London riots.
Oh
I
man.
remember thinking this is not good, and this was less than a year before the Olympics. Thinking this does not look good on a world stage.
No, I mean, how did that all kick off anyway? I think it was like some guy got shot in, what was it, like Tottenham or something?
Tottenham, yeah.
Yeah, and then for some reason it kicked off all over the country. So then there was riots in Tottenham, which were kind of like started as protests, like naturally,
Yeah,
because against police brutality, and then it kicked off in Birmingham and
yeah. Bristol.
then and Bristol, and then for some reason Miss Selfridge's in Manchester. A lot of resentment there.
Yeah.
It was crazy, and it did not make us look good before the London Olympics. You're
Yeah.
right. It's terrible.
So let's come to 2012, which I think is the best year in recent memory. We did have that Olympics. There's a really good feel-good factor, I think, around the country when the Olympics were here. And we did really well. We came third. Our friend Richie and Lorna were in the opening ceremony.
Yes,
That was amazing.
Dressed as the Beatles.
Yeah, that was great. And then this was when the sort of Marvel universe really started coming to the fore in cinema, didn't it? And I know you're a bit Marvel. It's the Marvel universe.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Avengers came out, so it was the biggest grossing movie of all time, like beat Titanic and Avatar and all that sort of stuff at the box office. It was insane. And it kicked off the Marvel universe like when they were all together, basically. Like Iron Man had done it in 2008 as like a solo film, and then this is where I emerge as a geek. By the way, this
is your forte.
This is my domain. And then the Avengers came out, and it was like the first group superhero kind of team up movie of that, effectively of that era. And it was absolutely massive.
And do you remember when everyone was scared because, according to the Mayan calendar, lots of people thought the world was going to end?
21st of December 2012.
Yeah,
yes.
That was hilarious. So, 2013.
That was a bit of an odd year.
Yeah, the year of the twerk.
The year of the twerk. Oh, of course, twerking. That was the whole Miley Cyrus thing as well, wasn't it? She kind of sort of went from sweet and innocent Disney girl to, pretty much what she's now. So basically, she became a bit of a rebel. She got all her tattoos and stuff. And then she twerked on stage at the MTV Video Music Awards, and she started that whole big discussion about sexing up the music industry. Like, is there like a minimum age? Like, we should be letting people into the industry, like, where they're kind of sex symbols, and that was insane. Yeah, she just pretty much flipped. So maybe that's what happens when your career is driven by Disney for the first 20 years of your life.
Yeah. And then
Andy Murray won his first Wimbledon.
He did. Oh, I remember watching that. That was good. Another.
What was it, like 77 years since a Brit had won it before then?
Yeah, something like that. And he'd finally done it. We'd finally had a Brit win Wimbledon. So that was good.
Yeah, good on him.
2014, bad stuff.
Yeah, again, a lot of bad stuff. I mean, Scotland had their referendum in 2014 about whether they were going to stay or leave the UK.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
quite a big thing. I mean, I know a
Yeah.
lot of Scottish people who were
Yeah.
somewhat opinionated about it, and then a lot of others
Yeah.
who didn't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
It's just happening. I remember a bloke at work who's Scottish, and he just didn't want to talk about it at all because he lived in England and he didn't get a vote. So, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
2014, I suppose. Oh, it was the start of ISIS Brazil World Cup.
It was. There was a match between Brazil and Germany, which Germany won 7-1, and it was the most hilarious game I've ever seen in my life. It was just...
So for those of us who don't actually care about football, why was that a big thing?
Because Brazil are meant to be good, and it was in their own backyard, and Germany stuffed them 7-1. There's a video on YouTube where they put highlights of the game to wrestling commentary, and it's hilarious. Go look it up. It's so funny. Yeah.
Who won that year then?
Germany won the World Cup that year.
Oh,
yes.
Germany won it, right.
Yes.
So they got off to a good start and a good end.
Yes. Yeah.
That's good.
Moving on.
2015. What about 2015?
The rise of Trump. I don't really want to talk about this too much.
No, nor do I. Queen Elizabeth II, she became the longest reigning English monarch in history. She surpassed Queen Victoria.
Indeed.
That was quite a thing. In very sad news. Now, I know this is not something that a lot of people want to discuss. I know but it has to be mentioned. Deep breath. Kermit and Miss Piggy from the Muppets ended their relationship.
Sad times.
They announced it on Twitter. They were always like relationship goals. If you had a strong female personality and a famous bloke, but yes, they ended their relationship, and then he shacked up with the first pig secretary he could find. Oh yes, and I got married. Yay!
Yes, indeed.
I got married in September, so that was my thing that year.
Nice. 2016.
2016. Do we want to talk about 2016? That was a year we started losing celebrities like they were flies dropping out of the sky. It was absolutely insane. I mean, David Bowie, Alan Rickman, Carrie Fisher, who was Princess Leia in Star Wars, Harper Lee, who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, Prince.
Yeah. Can't believe that was 4 years ago. Time has gone so crazy.
John Glenn, who was the first US person to orbit the Earth, he died, and Muhammad Ali as well.
Yeah.
They all died. I mean, that was just like they were just dropping like flies, and like there was people like talking about like David Attenborough and Betty White and stuff, like getting them and putting them in a room and wrapping them in bubble wrap just so we didn't lose any more like of these iconic legends.
I remember going to see Stevie Wonder that year in London and thinking, I've got 6 weeks till I go and see him. You know, please somebody wrap him in cotton wool and make sure that he survives, because I really wanted to see him. So I'm glad.
Selfish on your part.
Yeah, but I'm glad he survived.
He did. And then Andy Murray won his second Wimbledon.
Second title.
Awesome. Yeah, he won his second title. I mean, he'd already won the US Open and Wimbledon once already. But yeah, then he decided to go and do Wimbledon again. It's like, yeah, good on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 2016 we try not to remember. That was a bit odd.
Yeah.
Not to mention just all the death and the right-wing politics, but it was just
yeah, let's gloss over that.
Yeah, let's gloss over that one. 2017, that was definitely again another bit of a bleak year, shall we say? I mean, there was good stuff too.
Like
but it was mostly based around politics. 2017, it was insane.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can find a good news story.
No, I mean, I was trying to look for a good news story. I mean, 2017 was like, Trump was sworn in as president, so the right wing had their whole day. It was the year of fake news. So 2017 was the whole fake news thing. And then there was the whole scandal about the Russians interfering in the US presidential election. There was a terrorist attack in the Manchester Arena, the Ariana Grande concert. So people died, and then hundreds more were injured. The USA withdrew from the Paris Climate Accord, which is one of the things that Trump was talking about during his campaign, and he actually did it, which is insane. Grenfell Tower fire in London. That was just mental. Robert Mugabe resigned as president. Of course, he had to resign because he was also under house arrest. And then we had loads more deaths as well. Come on, I mean, it's so depressing. I mean, we had John Hurt, who was like a legendary actor.
Great actor.
Chuck Berry.
Yeah. Johnny Be Good.
Johnny Be Good. Yeah. Chris Cornell of Soundgarden. He passed away. Adam West. So the first TV Batman in the camp 70s version.
Yeah.
He unfortunately passed away. Roger Moore. So the Saint 007. He unfortunately passed away. And then Fats Domino, the American singer, he passed away. Yeah. Malcolm Young of AC/DC, one of the founding members of AC/DC, passed away. Yeah. And the one I'm sure that you're most depressed about was Tom Petty.
Yeah. I'm a big Tom Petty fan, and I went to see him that summer in Hyde Park, and it was a really great gig. And I just remember seeing on my phone, that evening that again Tom Petty's in hospital. He's not doing very well, and then a couple of hours later they announced he died, and pretty sad.
Yeah, that was pretty sad. I bought my house. I don't know.
Excellent.
Can we consider that a good thing? I got on the housing market and I became very much in debt. So double-edged sword, really. Every cloud.
So this is going to be a new feature where each week we'll take it in turns to quiz each other on various subjects. And this week it's going to be the highest grossing films of the decade. So we're going to go from 2010 to 2020. And Graeme, I want you to name 5 of the top 10 highest grossing films from 2010 onwards.
2010 onwards. So the top 10s.
Yes.
Blimey, okay. Does it include 2020 or does it not include 2020?
No, I think at this point, let's not include it.
Okay. So I would say definitely the Avengers is in there.
Indeed.
So if I've got to name 5, I can pretty much say first, 3 Avengers? Well, actually, no, 3 Avengers films.
Okay, so I want you to name the full name. If you're going to use Avengers, you need the other bit to it.
Okay, so right, that was just the Avengers film, which was just Avengers. There was...
Wait. Yes, correct.
Avengers Endgame.
Correct.
Which I believe beat all of them anyway. There was Avengers Age of Ultron. Correct.
2 to go.
Star Wars Force Awakens.
Correct.
I know that was quite high grossing, even though it wasn't, in my opinion, particularly good. Jurassic World.
Correct.
Yes.
You've got 5. Can you name any more?
Yes. So I reckon. Avengers Infinity War is definitely in there as well. Sorry.
Correct.
I reckon. Did Harry Potter make it in there? Deathly Hallows?
I'm afraid that was 11th.
11? Oh, come on. Okay, fair enough. Frozen. Come on, Frozen's got to have made it in there.
Which one?
The first one.
No.
Really?
No.
Not in there, jeez. Do you want to build a snowman? No, go away from me.
Yeah.
Let's come on. Oh, come on. No. I'm on a roll now. Come on. I'm on a roll. Black Panther.
Yes. So you've got 7. You've got 3 more to get.
Oh, come on. Joker.
Nope.
No. What?
Incorrect.
Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. That did not make top 10.
No.
Oh, bugger. Did one of the Fast and the Furious films make it in?
Which one?
I don't know. There's been far too many. I'm going to say lucky number 7.
Yes. Correct.
Oh, okay. There's been too many. I got bored after the first one. Lion King.
Correct.
The live action version, not the animated version, because the animated version was like what, 60s?
No, it wasn't. It was the 90s.
The 90s.
And this live action one is CGI anyway, so it's still animated.
Well, no, they consider it live action because it's actually like the actors wearing the suits, and then they're crawling around on the floor, and then they superimpose the animals over the top of them. So it's half live action, half animated.
Keep telling yourself that. Just keep digging.
I'm not going to keep digging. That was a good that was a good explanation. And you can't put that in now because you've just taken the piss out of me.
So you've got one left.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
No. I'll put you out of your misery.
Go on then.
It was Frozen 2.
What?
So you'd already mentioned it, but Frozen 2 was 8th. Frozen was 14th.
Frozen 2 made more money than the first Frozen.
Yeah.
I suppose they're expecting more iconic songs, aren't they? But,
anyway, that about wraps it up for this week. So thank you very much for listening. Like I said, you can get in touch on virtualpubchat@gmail.com or find us on Facebook at virtualpubchat and send us your messages. And if there's anything you'd like us to talk about, please let us know. And we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Cheers, Johnny.